Hi, and welcome to Community Hotline. My name is Monica Weitzel. We're here in Gresham at MetroEast Community Media. Tonight we have a full show, and we're going to start off talking with two organizations instead of just one. And to start off, we have with us Christy Moore. You're the founder and co-director of Voice for the Voiceless. Thanks for being here, Christy.
Thank you.
And Carl Ralston, founder and president of Remember New. So there's a correlation between your two. There's a relationship there. Yeah. But I'd like to start off first, Carl, asking you about Remember New. Can you tell me a little bit about the organization, what the mission is, and why you started it?
Yeah, we have a very focused mission, and it's ending child sex slavery through prevention. And I heard a 14-year-old girl's story who was sold into the sex trade. And when I heard her story, I knew I needed to try and do something about it.
Wow. How old was she again? 14?
14.
That's really scary. It's a really scary thing. This, I mean, it's happening here too in the United States, but you're working with youth that are overseas, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so New was that the 14-year-old you were talking about? Is that?
Yes.
Okay, and how is she today?
She's a happy, well-adjusted young lady. She's 26 years old. Nice. Actually living in Portland and
really?
getting married to an Oregonian on May 8th.
Wow, happy endings. That's great.
Yeah.
That's wonderful news. But it's very hard to get kids out of the sex trade, and there's a multitude of reasons why they might get into it, but usually it's not any choice of theirs, correct? Right. So what exactly does Remember New do to help these kids? What is it you do?
We are strictly focused on prevention. So we find a village where children are being sold into the sex trade. We go to that village, we interview children, find those that are at risk, and offer them a scholarship to come live in our homes. They stay with us 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year.
So when you talk about them living in your homes, is that a home in their own country?
It is. We have 52 children's homes in 12 countries around the world.
Wow. Okay, so tell me what are some of the countries? I know Cambodia is one.
Yeah, in Africa, we are in Kenya, Gambia, Guinea-Bissau, and Uganda, and Senegal. And then coming across, we're in India, Myanmar, Thailand, Laos, Cambodia, and the Philippines and Bolivia.
Wow, wow. You do kind of run the gamut there. So do you intend to keep expanding on that and opening more homes?
Yeah, my goal and what is on my heart is to see this end. It happens right now to 1.2 million children a year, 137 an hour.
That we know about, right? I mean, it could be even higher than that, I imagine. Mm-hmm. That's a scary thing. So prevention is your main goal,
right?
And then what about kids that are already in it? Is there hope for them once they've gotten into that? There
is. There's a lot of organizations that try and get children out of the trade. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Very few of us that try and prevent them from getting in. Remember New helps sponsor some of those organizations in the countries we're in. We have relationships with people getting the children out so that if we run into a child that's in the trade, we can refer them because we don't have the knowledge to help them. You can't do everything. Yeah. But the prevention is a huge part of it. I mean, even here in the United States, as we're on the I-5 corridor, I know that it's a huge problem, and just getting our youth to understand the risks and the dangers, it's a big deal. It's a big deal. So Christy, you are with Voice for the Voiceless. Tell me a little bit about that, and then tell me how this all ties in.
Okay. So Voice for the Voiceless, what it is that it is actually a group of at this point, it's about 30 kids, and they range from 11 years old until 19. I think there might be even one that's 20. And they're by audition only, and they sing, and they're really interested in music. But more than music, they want to perform and show about the statistics and bring awareness to various different locations as to what it is, the atrocities that are actually happening. So the point of this choir is actually to educate people about the sex trade industry. Mm-hmm. Is that right? Wow, that's pretty impressive. So
Did your organization come about as a result of
Yes,
Carl's organization?
it is.
Wow. So tell me, how does that work? So say I have a child who's 12 years old and she loves to sing and she loves to perform, and I've been trying to educate her about the perils that are out there, and that this is an issue throughout the world. Would somebody like that be a candidate to perform with your choir if she were to pass the audition? Is
Yeah. So a lot of times when the kids come in and they love music and all that, we let them know what it is that the choir is about, what the outreach is for. And many times the kids will either just say, oh, yes, I totally want to support this, and I'm also a singer or musician or whatever. They're perfect for that. I mean, you can just see that when they are on stage, they just pop, they come to life because this is near and dear to their heart.
Well, that's something they can be passionate about. And when you're really young, sometimes you haven't had a whole lot of experience in your life to bring forth those emotions maybe in singing, but I mean, that's something that I think anybody could relate to, that these are other kids that are in danger, and it would ruin their lives if they were, to get into that industry. So do all of the kids that come to you, do they know what your mission is, or
All of them.
All of them.
Before they even set foot into the choir,
Okay.
they know what it's all about.
Wow. Do some come and they don't sing? They just want to be part of the group?
We do have some groupies.
I love it. I love it. And so what do? They just yell and woo!
Or they run the booth where some of the products that have been made at the Remember New homes, sometimes we have an opportunity to be able to sell some of that product, and so some of those groupies will come and they want to help out with some of that.
You call them
or they
groupies?
hand out flyers and such for
Okay.
us.
So they can help educate
Yes.
people that come.
Yeah.
So you talked about performances, then you go and do you have a set schedule, or how do you, where do you perform?
Well, we perform at any various banquets or churches or anything like that that are desiring to also participate with that ministry.
Okay.
And they.
So you're open for hire.
Yeah.
Yeah. And but it would need to meet your mission, right? It would be,
Yes.
You'd want their mission to be aligned with your
Yep.
mission. Yeah.
And our mission statement's right on our website.
Good. That's great. So if people are interested then in perhaps they would like to have some entertainment at an event that they're doing. I know there are a lot, Carl, you mentioned there are groups that work on getting kids out of the sex trade industry. If one of those organizations maybe was having a fundraiser and they wanted some entertainment, could they?
Perfect.
I mean, that would seem like it would be a good fit, right?
Yep, it
Yeah,
is.
yeah,
That's exactly
okay.
right.
Okay, so Christy mentioned products that were made. Is that part of your program through Remember New, that some of the people that have come out of the sex trade industry are making products, or what was that all about? The things that you sell?
We, again, keep the kids from ever entering the sex trade.
Right.
So we're not working with them once they're in. Other groups can do that better than us. But our commitment is to give them the highest education possible. Right now, we have about 30 children that are in university, and we're paying for them to go to college. But we have some children that come through our program that just academically can't get into university.
Right.
So then we'll either give them vocational training or help them start a business. And in the vocational training, they'll make things like headbands or purses.
Right. Something that they can sell and make a living
Right.
off of. Okay. So you mentioned that you did say that it's all about prevention, and you talked about the homes that the kids live in. What does somebody need to do to open their home to these kids?
There's several ways people can get involved. They can go to our website, remembernew.org, new being spelled NHU, and they can sponsor a child. We have 3 levels that they can sponsor a child as a sibling, a grandparent, or aunt and uncle, and a parent. And also we have teams that go over and might help us do some construction or just love on the kids. And then we also need U.S. workers. All of the house parents and helpers are indigenous to those countries,
Good.
but we use Americans to oversee things.
Okay, that makes sense, and that's a good thing. The kids that are placed in the homes, do most of them have homes that they're coming from that are not stable situations? I mean, how do I'm just trying to think of, if somebody came to me and said, we're going to take your child and put him in this other home, how does that work?
A lot of times our kids have been abandoned. That's our most common child. They've been abandoned by their family and they'll never see them again. We have true orphans, a lot of different situations.
So how do they find out about you, about your organization?
When we find a village that is selling children, we go to them proactively. And so that's a lot of times the way they find out is where they're doing interviews. However, now our children are the biggest source of referrals to us. When they see a child in their village or a relative that becomes at risk, then they'll refer that child to us.
That's perfect. That's really the way that you're going to succeed, isn't it?
Yes.
So what is it you need the most as an organization? Is it volunteers? Is it monetary donations? What is it that feeds Remember New that you need the most?
Our biggest need is for people who will sponsor our children. And then after that, it is people. We need people to bring teams over and work with us.
Okay. And when somebody sponsors a child, what kinds of things does that money buy?
It pays for everything for that child: food, clothing, shelter, medical care, education up through university, the house parents' salaries. And when someone gives us a donation, the entire donation gets to the child.
Wow. Well, that's impressive. So there's not a lot of overhead that you're having to deal with, and that's good. And people like to know that about organizations where they're going to give their money. So, Christy, tell me a little bit more about how did you personally become involved with this? Do you mind me asking?
No. This is a story that's very near and dear to my heart. My husband and I are owners of Monica sewing machines.
Oh, okay.
And what happened was that there was a time where we were really praying that for an opportunity for our business, Monica, to be able to coincide with some kind of a ministry or some kind of mission work. And so that's how we had heard of Remember New. We were going to be going to Thailand anyway, because one of our sewing machine companies, because we had sold enough sewing machines, had actually paid for my husband and I and my 2 children to go to Thailand.
Wow.
So we had an opportunity to be able to go and actually see one of the Remember New homes. And on our way back, we were at the airport, and I asked the kids, I said, I talked
How
to
old were the kids at this time?
let's see, 7, 10, around there. I think my son was about 7 or 8. My daughter was like 10 or 11.
Okay.
Right at the ages of those kids, right there. So they were playing with them and everything. And I asked my son and my daughter, and I said, "So, what are your thoughts on this trip?" And they said, "We'll go back and we'll see Grandma and Grandpa, and they'll look at our faces, and they'll know who we are. But if all that they can see right now is just our hearts, they would no longer recognize us." That is to what degree that they had changed. So when I came back, and as a musician, I thought, how is it that I can also bring this and bring a change to other kids that would also love an opportunity to be able to become part of a ministry and have it change their lives as well.
That's beautiful. That's a great story. Thank you, Christy. And I'm a firm believer in getting kids involved in community work, service work. When they're young, get them to understand and have empathy for other people, and that's a beautiful way to do it. I love that. So, as a choir, are there things that you need? How do you support your choir? I know you have concerts, and so people pay to go to the concerts, right?
Yeah, actually, no, they don't.
Oh.
There is not. No, really, the only funds that we use to support the choir is the kids pay per month. It's like a class.
Okay.
But outside of that, really, the concerts are about when they come in. We share about what's going on with Remember New, and our focus has been not so much the stuff that's sold or from the Remember the vocational homes, but it's to find sponsorships, just like he was talking about.
Oh,
That
okay.
is key. That is the most important thing. So if they come ready to give, awesome, is to be able to support these guys.
That's right. And I would imagine, we're just about out of time, but I was thinking that a really nice way to get sponsorships would be for like a small companies or different companies to do that as a team building thing. Would that be? I would imagine you'd be open to that. So if there's a group out there that would like some music for whatever event they're having that their mission aligns with yours, or if they just want to get information about it, would you be the ones to contact, or?
Yeah. I would be the one.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. So, Voice for the Voiceless and Christy Moore, and then Carl, you are going to just keep doing your thing with Remember New, and get the support from Christy and those kids. That's great. That's a wonderful thing. Anything else that we need to know before I let you go tonight?
Not for me. Thank you very much.
Thank you so
You're
much for this
welcome. You bet.
opportunity. Yeah.
Thanks for doing some amazing work. Our kids are very important, and they're important all over the world, so it's wonderful to know that there's people looking out for them. Don't go away. We'll be right back with more of Community Hotline.
My documentary was more than I ever would have dreamed of doing.
This is a community media station.
It was phenomenal.
Ready, camera one.
What is it about this place that makes so many different people come together?
Ready, camera two.
Very professional, experienced people.
You can use these industry standard pieces of equipment.
Ready, camera three. Take three.
You don't have to be rich to do this.
Open people's eyes to something they've never even thought of before.
Cool stuff happens. It becomes this community.
That's going to really change who's telling the stories and who's controlling the messaging.